Hey, I'm Susan Palmer of Lead Cat Press, and this is my studio update. Thanks so much for tuning in. Before I forget, I want to mention that starting in February, I'm restarting all of my 4-week small group guitar classes. They're going to be all online from now on. So I've got a beginning class, an intermediate class, an advanced class, and I'm also doing a free class each month for 2023 as well. So I'll have the link to my newsletter below, and you can check that out. Subscribe if you want to keep posted on that for future. But anyways, I wanted to let you know about all of that before I forgot. For this week, you can always skip below and just hit the chapter headings for the lesson that pertains to what you are working on. But we'll be covering technique. I've got a Bebop exercise for you that I go through in all 5 patterns. For the reading, I played through part 1 of Minuet in G, so my students who are working on that can play the harmonized portion along with me. For the chords and groove, I cover Autumn Leaves. I just added a few extra spicy chords in there. Nothing too spicy, just a little bit more complicated than the regular fare. For the scales and solos, I've got a PDF for you. You can download on my website. For the theory, I go over an F7 altered chord, or is it a D sharp minor 7 flat 5 or a B9 chord? It's a few different things, so we'll get to that. And for the tune, I played In Walked Bud, and for the bonus, I talk about guitar maintenance. So I hope you enjoy this week's session, and thanks again for tuning in. So this is a little more challenging than the technique studies I've showed in previous weekly studio updates. I'm going to play it first, and then we'll talk about it. Isn't that cool? So what I'm doing here is I'm half stepping into each note that makes up the C major triad, and then I'm doing a little mix and match on the way back down. So the notes are B, C, E flat, E, F sharp, G, B, C, E flat, E, F sharp, G. So that part's not too bad. On the way back, I'm going to play F sharp, G, B, C, E flat, E, F sharp, G, B, C, E flat, E, F sharp, G, B, C, E flat, E, F sharp, G, B, C. And then here are the remaining positions. One, two, three. This week, one of my students came in with the tune Autumn Leaves, which is a jazz standard, and they were playing it great. They played the chords really nicely, and I heard those chords, and I wanted to kind of add a little more variety to that. So I want to show you what we worked on in our lesson this week, and also so that they have a lesson that they can refer to online to grab these voicings in case they forget, because that is the main reason that I'm making these videos. So I've got a C minor 7, which they were playing, and then they played F7 with a sharp 9, followed by B flat major 7, E flat major 7, A minor 7 flat 5, there's that D7 again with that sharp 9, to G minor 7. And so what I added, we kept that C minor 7. I thought that was a nice choice there. Very simple, right to the point. Then I played this nice altered chord. This is many different chords, but I'm thinking of it here as an F7 with a sharp 5 and a flat 9. So I have E flat, A, C sharp, and F sharp there. So that's my F7 altered chord right there. And then I kept the B flat major 7, the E flat major 7, A minor 7 flat 5, and then over the D7 I just added one thing. So they came in and they were playing D7 with a sharp 9. I added a flat 9 to that, so we get a little movement. So just instead of, we would have, and then go to that G minor 7. So what I added was, we were playing that sharp 9, which is the F right there. I kept everything the same, except you see how I'm lifting up my pinky there to get that D sharp or E flat right there, and that gives me that flat 9. And I just like that movement there, that sharp 9 to the flat 9. And then over the G minor 7, that's a great chord. Sometimes I like oscillating between G minor 7 and G minor 6, which is a really kind of dark, mysterious chord to me. So the whole thing turned out like this. So just adding a little variety to those chords. I hope you dig that. All right, let's talk about the guitar solo for this week. So last week, I gave you a sample solo to play over a B-flat jazz blues, and I broke down the lines. I kept it real simple. We had some motifs going on, and yeah, it was just a simple basic solo to give you some momentum with that. This week, what I'd like you to do is to write out your own solo. And I literally mean write out your own solo. If you study with me, you know how to read music. And if you're one of my jazz students, you know your chord tones, you know how to do all that notation and stuff. So I dropped a link below with some staff paper. What's different with this staff paper than other free staff paper you'll find online is that I actually included the bar lines in there. I don't know about you. I really like things when they're neat and tidy, and I don't want to have to worry about keeping everything even on my page. I just want to jot down the notes and move on. So with this, yeah, it's all free, and you can download it, and it's got those bar lines in there, 4 to a bar, or 4 to a line, which is my preferred method. So I am excited to hear my students who are working with me. I'm excited to hear their solos that they'll play at their lessons for this week. So if you're not a student of mine, you can easily become one, or you can just do this on your own for fun. All right, so this might blow your mind a little bit, but I want to go back to that F7 altered chord that I showed you in Autumn Leaves. And when I was describing it, I said that this shape here could be thought of as a few different chords. So I want to go over what those chords are. If we're thinking of this as F7 altered, E flat is my flat 7, A is my 3rd, C sharp is my sharp 5, and G flat is my flat 9. But you could also think of this same exact group of 4 notes here as a D sharp half diminished, or a D sharp minor 7 flat 5. And in that case, D sharp is my root, A is my flat 5, C sharp is my flat 7, and F sharp is my flat 3. But wait, there's more. You could also think of this as a B9 chord without a root. So a rootless B9 chord. In that case, D sharp is my 3rd, A is my flat 7, C sharp is my 9, and F sharp is my 5. But wait, there's one more, and that would be F sharp minor 6. And in that case, D sharp is the 6th, A is the minor 3rd, C sharp is the 5th, and then F sharp is the root. And yeah, I think that's really cool. When you're studying that stuff, it's intense. It really helps to have a teacher who knows what they're doing and also who has some strategies for learning all of those different configurations and how we use them. I like to teach all of that stuff. Thinking of inversions, might as well get all of that in there as well for those 4 different types of chords, because it's such a common and very useful shape. But those 4 notes have several different functions there, which is really cool. So the way that I do this in my studio is, we just take it bite-sized pieces. I encourage flashcards, all of that stuff. But, it's a slow process. You want to, get used to one and then add another one and go back and forth and then add another one. So it takes a while. And again, having a good teacher to help you do that, I think, is really helpful. So if you don't have a teacher, you know where to find me, leadcatpress.com. And yeah, I hope that helps just kind of blow your mind a little bit and give you some things to look forward to in the future. This week's pro tip has to do with guitar maintenance. And the first thing that you need to know about guitar maintenance is how to change your own strings. So if you don't know, you can take it to a guitar shop and have somebody show you there. They're oftentimes happy to do that because then you won't be bringing your guitar in all the time to have them do that simple work. You can also watch a video on YouTube. Most string manufacturers have a YouTube channel, and there's usually some tutorials on there on how to do that. My first experience changing strings was when I was 11 years old. My strings were just really cruddy because I didn't know how to change them, and it had been, 6 months or a year even maybe. And so what I did is I took them all off. I, oiled the fretboard with lemon oil, and then I was like, oh shoot, I don't know how to put them back on. Like, what way do I wind them, and how do they look? All of those things. I skipped that step. So luckily I had a guitar magazine like we did back in the day. And I used the examples from the pictures in that to help me figure out how to do it. And I know my guitar was probably a mess, but over time I got better at it. It was less scary. And, I would talk to guitar techs over the years and kind of learn some different techniques for it. So I think it's important for guitar players to know how to change their own strings. So see if you can look that up and, buy 3 packs of strings at a time so you have, the option to make some mistakes as you go, because you're not going to do it perfectly the first or second time. But keep practicing that just like you practice your scales and all the other stuff, and you'll get better at it.